Hey, what's going on? Today I want to talk about the relationship that you have with yourself as a person. It is a subject that is not taught in schools, but it is probably the most important subject for a person because it will change your life. It will change everything. So, the relationship that you have with yourself is a very intimate relationship, and it is one of those things where it's like the old story where two little fish are swimming in a ocean and they're going on their first day to school or whatever, and they see a large fish swim by them, an older fish, and the older fish says to the little ones, "Good morning, little guys. How's the water?" And they swim away, being confused, looking at each other like, "What the hell is water?" It's one of those things where you don't realize as a person that you are always interacting with yourself. It's the one person that is always with you. And what are you talking about? I'm talking about there's a voice inside, there's these thoughts, there's this feeling. You have all these broadcasts, I suppose you could call it a broadcast, that is constantly going on. It's a feelings, it's the thoughts, and then it's the choice. So there's three primary act personalities, you could call it, right? The feeling portion of you, the thinking portion of you, and then the portion of you that chooses. And the choosing person is the one that you really are, because that is your free will. That's the, in all moments, decides which way you can go. And the goal should be, and you can decide whatever it is for you, but for me, it's to bring harmony between all three of these aspects so that they're not fighting against each other, that they're in fact aligned. So when I say that that's a relationship, it really is, because you're relating to three or two different parts and you're in the middle. It's not taught on. Again, as you listen to this, you're going, hopefully, hey, this makes sense. I have this part of me that wants one thing, and then there's other part of me that says, well, that's dumb. And I'm at odds, right? I have to pick between the two, and I have conflict. And sometimes that conflict can result in self-disgust. It can result in self-loathing, right? Self-fear or self-hate. It can even come down to you being unaware of who you really are. Which am I? Am I this or am I that? And you can feel lost. It can lead to confusion. It could lead to doubt. It could lead to fear even, because if you're on uncertain footing, it's very easy to be afraid because you have nothing that is firm that you stand on, because you don't know who you are. And it's one of those things where it isn't taught in school. We're taught sociology, we're taught psychology, we're taught, which by the way, psychology is very much an intellectualized way of looking at things, right? It's not, it's science, right? And the scientific part of the world, it actually caters very well to the intellect, to your mind. But your heart, your emotions, they're not scientific. There's definitely some pattern to it, but interest is something that grips us. And we don't know where your feelings to some degree come from. We don't know where your interests even come from. You don't choose what you're interested in if you really think about it. So there's a level of surrender that has to occur to say, oh, I am feeling this, and to be able to recognize that and to give it its space so that you can make friends with that part of you. And you can also, of course, make friends with the part of you that is intellectual and give it its say and clear your mind so it can speak its part and then understand what it wants. And then the goal should be to bring these two aspects together so you in the middle don't have to constantly choose between the two fighting parents to some degree, and you're the child that's in the middle. In fact, what you could do is you could lead both of these aspects of you. You could learn to listen to this and you can listen to that and say, guys, listen, let's make peace. And I'm going to help both of you, but you guys need to help me as well so that we can live this life. Because the guy that is in the middle, the girl that's in the middle, is the one that actually has the dream. That's the purpose. You get to live your life based on your terms if you can make peace. And then you can lead towards the vision that you want, towards the dream that the life that you want to live. I hope this makes sense, guys. It's a relationship. It requires meditation. It requires disconnection. It requires being alone. It requires shutting out all the noise and coming within and listening. And if that means you got to sit down and pray, or sit down in nature for 20 minutes a day and have a notebook that you write on, or you could write down, my intellect says this, my emotion says this, and my inner voice, the truth, the voice that is me, the silence in which it thrives, it says I need to go do that. And in giving all parts of it its space. And FYI, to say nothing of your body, you have to listen to your body so that you don't neglect your body, the vessel in which all three of these parts of you are living. This isn't taught in school, and I always wondered if it was because they don't know, or it is something that they don't need for the average person that they want to make into a worker. You guys have heard me say my skepticism of the education system to produce workers rather than to produce leaders. And I think you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to be able to recognize that in today's day and age. We're producing workers through the education system. My thing with this whole understanding yourself is that it will allow you to be able to lead yourself, which is perhaps one of the most powerful things you can learn as a human being, is to be able to lead yourself so that you can go towards what you really want. And that way you're not coerced or manipulated into a life that you did not choose. So being able to listen to yourself and allowing that space and to be able to love yourself, because actually the reality is, if you can understand your intellect and your emotions and be able to lead with your heart while taking care of your body, it is in fact what brings about love, right? Love is the thing that will actually bring you together rather than tear you apart. Because reality is, almost all of the world's sins and just the bad things that happen, it all originates in self-hate. And all the good things in the world that happen, in some sense, also originate in self-love. You can't love on others if there is no love within ourselves, right? That's the reality. I can't love others if I don't like myself. That love will always be a conditional, empty love. If you want it to be full, the best thing you can learn is to have compassion for all parts of ourselves: the intellect, the emotion, the voice inside, and then your body. Be able to bring those four parts of you inside, keep them together through love, compassion, and loving, truly loving yourself, right? Is truly loving yourself is to listen to yourself and to give it space, and then to be able to express it through the free will part and say, I got you. Nobody ever plans their life to be horrible, right? Nobody sits down and makes a plan like, I'm going to ruin my life. Nobody does that. So when you sit down and you listen, and then what happens, the natural reaction after the compassion is done and you finally are able to come at peace with yourself, the natural reaction is to make a plan to live a life that's authentic and to live a life that is true and live a life that's actually good. And it all originates in listening to yourself, having a good relationship with yourself, aka loving yourself, and that leading to a life of authenticity, a life of giving, a life of gratitude, a life full of love, in which you are able to love yourself, have compassion for yourself, which you inevitably will fall. So you have to use that compassion to bring you back up, and being able to love on others so that you can live a life that is full. I hope this helps, guys. I know it's very deep, but it is some of the things that I have been learning that has really, really moved the needle for me. Having a good relationship with yourself is paramount to living a good life and to building a company. I hope that helps. I'll see you around on some of the more instructional videos when it comes to our business. Thanks, guys. Take care.